I'm going to talk about how to construct a discrete prior for a proportion. In order to implement a Bayesian analysis, one needs to construct a prior that reflects one's opinion about the location of a parameter. That raises the question, how do you construct a prior? Let's focus on a parameter that we probably know something about. Let's let P be the probability a basketball player makes a free throw attempt. Let's try to construct a prior on P. Here's a picture of Elena Della one of the best free throw shooters in basketball. She shoots about 90%, makes about 90% of her shots from the free throw line. So let's let P be the chance that an average woman college player makes a free throw. To help construct a prior for P, it's helpful to look at some data. So I'm going to look at the free throw stats for the BGSU women's basketball team. And if we look at that data, we see that the free throw percentages they range a bit from 55% to about 89%. So the first step to constructing a prior is choose some plausible values for P. So what are reasonable free throw shooting probabilities? Well, I think about this for a little bit, and I decide that values of 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, and 9 are all possible values for P. It's unlikely, very unlikely, for a value of P, free throw percentage, to be smaller than 0.5. Next, I assign weights that reflect the relative likelihoods of those values of P. Now, I think that the middle values between 0.5 and 0.9 are most likely, and I think a value like 0.9 is pretty unlikely. So I place weights that reflect the relative likelihoods of those values. And notice I put the biggest weight on the value P equals 0.7. Now these are not real probabilities, and so what we do to make them probabilities, we divide each of the weights by the total weight to get probabilities. And we get this prior distribution for P. Now, well, we have to reflect now. Do these probabilities really approximate my beliefs about this shooting probability? Well, here is a graph of my prior, which might help. And so we see that we're putting most of our probability on the values 0.6, 0.7, and 0.8. So maybe you'll want to, if you don't think those as a reasonable prior, you can go ahead and revisit the weights and make some sort of adjustments that better reflect your opinion.